Hey everybody, welcome back to another video where we're going to talk about all things psychic, mediumship, energy, spirit guides, angels, all of that good stuff. But today I want to focus on the difference between a psychic and a medium. It's very interesting, the differences. So when a psychic when you meet with a psychic and you get a reading, and they, as part of their reading, maybe they say, oh, I'm sensing a female presence and I think she wants to come through and say that, I feel love, or I feel protection over you from this female, person. The difference between a psychic and a medium is psychics that aren't mediums, and there's a difference. There's psychic mediums like myself, and then there's psychics that fixing to explain what that difference is. So psychics can see your energy. They can see your life path a lot of times. They can see what decisions you're making and whether they're good or bad, or they're for your highest good. They can see what other people around you, what their energy is towards you. They can see, obviously, whether a job would be a good fit for you, or maybe this person you're interested in would be a good fit for you, or maybe give you some advice on going back to school, any number of things. As a psychic, I can tune into your energy. I can tune into your guides, and I can tune into your angels, and I can tune into your higher self. And then also psychics can read energies around you. So if there is a female energy that is around you that is sending you love, or sending you maybe a warning of protection or something like that, psychics can pick up on that. That's simply energy. They read it just like they read your energy in your workplace with your coworkers. All of that energy is available to a psychic. Now, the difference specifically between mediums and psychics is that a medium can then actually communicate back and forth with that female energy. So when a medium can see the energy and say, okay, this is a grandmother, potentially they might say, this is a grandmother on your father's side. This is what she looks like. This is her energy that she's showing me. But also, I want to ask her, Grandma, why are you here? Do you have a message for this person? And then Grandma would actually tell me, yes, I want to remind this person that you're reading. This is my nephew, I guess it would be grandson. And I want to remind him that that he came to visit me at the cabin, and we spent a summer together when he was in his teens. Okay, that's validated. There's very specific information there that cannot be discounted, right? Either you were or not there at the cabin in the summer when you were in your teens. So the main difference is that mediums can actually communicate back and forth. So then I can ask her, great, what were the things that you like to do with this particular grandson when you were at the cabin? Well, she might say he particularly liked to go to the swimming hole, whereas his sister, she liked to go and play in the garden. So again, that's a validated bit of information. But the important thing here is that to demonstrate that mediums actually communicate back and forth with the person that's crossed over, whereas a psychic would simply have a one-way communication, and that would be by reading their energy. They might say she's very loving, or I feel that she was a jokester. Those are feelings, right? Those are reading of the energy. Whereas a medium would actually go in and actually maybe even tell you a joke that she played on you. She's telling me about the time where she hid something from you and it took you all day to find it. So there's a difference there, right? Now, what's interesting, and I think I've talked about this before, but what's interesting too is that a lot of times when I'll go talk to your guides, they will give you information that they think you need to have for your highest good. The important thing being here that they think you need to have. Guides want us to learn our lessons. They don't want to give us the answers to the test or all of the answers, I should say. They'll give you some, but there's some answers they hold back because they really want you to experience that lesson and learn from it and grow from it. That's the whole reason we're here on earth, is to grow, is to experience something and then internalize it, learn from it, grow from it, and then move on to the next thing. So sometimes I'm able to go to family members and get information. So if a guide won't give me information, sometimes a family member will. And that's helpful because the family members can see what's in your immediate surroundings. Now, they're not going to tell you, really and honestly, most people cannot tell you what's going to happen 3 years from now because there's so much free will involved in those decisions. But your family members can say, oh yes, you are going to go back to school. I see you going back to school, is what they would say. I see you with books that look like a lot of books, and you're out of high school. So that would basically tell everybody that you're going back to school. Whereas the guide might not tell you that. They might say something like, school is highlighted for you. But they wouldn't say you're going back to school, because they want you to make that decision and they want you to learn the valuable lesson of whichever decision you make. So it's really interesting, right? How you get different answers from the different energies because they have different viewpoints, let's face it. So that's basically the difference between a psychic and a medium. It's all energy. We're all reading energy. All of us, any intuitive person is reading energy. That's why we can do it on the phone or via Skype or wherever, because we don't need you with us. We can simply just send our thought to you and kind of connect, if you will, to your energy. And then from there, we can follow what you're thinking, what you've been thinking about, or what the energies around you are how they're interacting with you. So that's very interesting, I think. And I think a lot of people, I think there's a nuance there between psychics and mediums. Now this is a really interesting question. I'm a psychic and a medium. I do know some mediums that don't call themselves psychic. They don't do any psychic work. They don't offer psychic readings. I find it helpful. I mean, my job is to help you. So I don't know if this is a talent that they just have not wanted to develop, or if it's a skill that they don't have. But I know that in my case, they both go hand in hand for me. Many times in a reading, I will use both. Like I just mentioned, I'll call a family member and then call a guide and kind of give you both viewpoints of that situation. So that's interesting. Now, as far as psychic abilities go and reading energy, boy, a lot of us have this, and we don't, I should say, we discount it. There are many times, I promise you, for those viewers watching this, that you were going out of the house and you stopped and you thought, something's just telling me to grab my umbrella. You grab your umbrella. Here's the trick. 4 out of 5 times it rains and you needed that umbrella, and you're like, gosh, I'm glad I had that thought to grab the umbrella. And then one time it doesn't rain. And that's what causes us to doubt these thoughts that we have, because sometimes it's not 100%, right? And what could have happened that day that it didn't rain is that your appointment got canceled across town and you didn't need to go across town. So therefore, the rain was across town and you didn't go there, and you didn't meet that energy that was predicted. Again, free will. So you have, many of you have this intuition, right? You get bad feelings around certain people or certain places, or you have a gut instinct that you trust. And some people just learn to trust it more than others. Very analytical people tend to override it and look for the data instead of maybe using their gut instinct and then supplementing it with data, right? So some things I think are fun to do is to kind of develop this, if you will, is when you're getting in the car and you're going down to let's say you're going to a destination of some sort, and you could take two different directions. Ask your guides to send you the direction with less traffic. Okay. And then what will happen is you might get blank. You just might get nothing. Like there's nothing there, right? But as you get to the stop sign where you should turn right or left or go straight, you'll get a little nudge. It's so subtle. It's very, very subtle, especially in the beginning. You'll get a little nudge, kind of go to the right. And sometimes you just turn right. How many times have you gone to some place and thought, why did I take this route? Why did I turn right? I never turn right. I always go straight through that intersection. That was you on autopilot and your guides being able to come through very quickly and give you that information without you thinking about it, without engaging your brain. So you were able to just turn right and go on about your business. But when you think about it, consciously think about it, and you get to that stop sign and you think, I don't know why, I just think I should go right, and you just go right. Now here's the trick. You go right and you take this other route to your destination, and you run into some traffic. Could be a lot of traffic. And then you immediately think, I knew I was wrong. I shouldn't have listened. I'm bad at this, or I don't have a good connection. These are all things people tell me. But how often do you then pull out your phone and look at maps to see if the other route had even more traffic? The traffic lines are illuminated with like a red line when there's lots of traffic. You might find that traffic, that route actually had more traffic than your traffic. So it's a lot about trust. The majority of this is about trust. That's the hardest thing of this whole, the hardest thing to get used to be able to trust your instincts. You just have to go on blind faith, and you have to assume that you're doing it for a reason. It's the same reason why you pick up the umbrella. You pick up the umbrella because something tells you to pick up the umbrella, and it's not a big deal, and you just throw it in the car and you go to work and you go wherever, and you need it or you don't. You don't really fact check it. You don't go back and say, well, I brought this and I shouldn't have. That's kind of where we need to get with our guides, is do it and don't look to see if it kind of paid off, if you will. Because the more you trust, the more you're in line with your guides and your angels, the more you're in line with your guides and your angels, the easier your life is going to be, the better your life is going to be. It's like being on the road versus running off the road and going through the weeds and the bump, and you're off the road and you're trying to get back on the road. On the road, you're doing 45 miles an hour and it's smooth sailing, right? That's the difference. When you're in the weeds and you're bumping along, what that means is when things are not going right, when you're constantly getting roadblocks, when you're getting kind of bad things happen, these are kind of messages that you're not on the right path. You're either not paying attention to the signals and the signs being sent to you, and therefore you've gone off the path. It's not to say necessarily that you're a bad person or that you're in trouble. It just means, hey, we're trying to get your attention. This is not where we want you to be. This is not the right highest and best path for you. Okay, so when that happens, sit back and say, wait a minute, I've been having this problem and that problem and this problem, and what is there others, or are they connected? Are they connected in some way? Can I make some other choices? And try making maybe 180-degree choices. Try making different choices and see if things are easier, right? And then as they get easy, that's your path. It's not luck, people. It's not luck. It's actually guidance. It's guidance. So when you are having a lucky period, you're basically listening to your guides. You're actually paying attention to your guides, and somehow or another bypassing this analytical thought process, and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing for your highest and best good. So we've talked about kind of energy in that way. Let's talk about signs and symbols. This is really interesting area. And you can overthink them as everything, right? But many of us get signs. I know there's the old saying that when a cardinal bird comes and sings, that's a loved one singing near you. I totally believe it. Many people that have had loved ones pass away attribute their energy to butterflies or dragonflies. Absolutely, absolutely. That is definitely when any kind of animal acts out of the ordinary or is particularly mindful of you, meaning they land on your head or they come into your awareness, like really into your awareness, that's a message. How many times do you hear birds sing and you just don't even think about it? It doesn't register, right? And then one day you hear, even from inside your house, you hear a cardinal singing and you think, that is so beautiful. That got into your awareness, that got through your analytical brain and got right into your soul. That's a message. Anything that happens 3 times is a message. It's not a coincidence, it's a message. I went through a period of time where I was asking my guides 3 times on everything because I didn't trust them. So I was like, no, I don't think that's true. And then it would happen again. And maybe. And then it happened again. Okay, yeah, it's true. Okay, I need to go talk to this person and tell them that I got this message for them. But I really literally would make them send the message 3 times, which you can do. You can always ask your guides, I need a message, send me a message. But when they send it 3 times and you don't pay attention, they're not going to send it. They're not going to keep sending it forever. When it has been my experience that when they send you messages and you don't pay attention to them, they give you like a break, like they just step away because they're not getting through to you at this point, right? For whatever reason, your analytical brain, or maybe you're just have so much going on in your life that you just can't make space for that other kind of energy to come in. So they'll just kind of give you a break, and it might be a week, a month, it might be a year, it might be 2 or 3 years. I've had this happen. I've experienced this. And it's not anything bad. It just means that they know that they can't get through right at that time. But imagine if you could somehow make space. Meditation is a good way to do this, but also so is gardening or exercising or any kind of hobby or creative work where you literally are so focused that you're not worried about anything else. You're not worried about money or the news or family or anything else because you're super focused on that hobby. That's making space. When you're super focused on one thing like that, that's when they can come through. That's why people have these, inspirations. Like, I don't know, I was just, gardening, and then I had this inspiration. I had this thought. They call it a thought. I had this thought that I should go back to school, or I should start a job, or I should start a new business. That's when it strikes because there's space up there. So imagine if you could create space for them to come through on a daily basis, or at least every other day, or maybe a weekly basis. Imagine having your guides be able to come to you and nudge you and guide you and drop thoughts in your head. That's like having somebody give you the answers to a really important test, or the shortcut, to a destination. It's really, honestly, a shortcut to a destination is the most descriptive way to tell you how that works, because we're all on a destination. We're all on some kind of life path and journey, and we can where you can be like me and you can go over to the weeds over there and you can muck around over there for many years, or you can listen to them and just not go in the weeds and stay on the path and then actually take a shortcut and get there super quick. So signs, symbols, some more signs and symbols. I'm not super into numerology. I love numerology and I love astrology, but they're not my bailiwick. And I love tarot cards, not my bailiwick. This stuff just comes through like this, and this is how I have to do it. But with numerology, one way my guides will send me messages, I am a prompt person. I will tell you that. I do check my phone. I'm not crazy about it, but I do check my phone throughout the day to make sure that I'm on target for my appointments or whatever. They will send me messages in the form of the clock. So I will see 222, 111, 555, repeating numbers. Some people see them on license plates. I've never seen that, but some people see them on license plates. Everywhere they go, they see 111. What does that mean? Or even billboards, or they just see them out and about in a different way. You know what I mean? If the angels and your guides can get your attention, they're going to get your attention. And if you're able to connect and see it, then you'll get the message. So that's a really good way. So like 111, divine guidance. When you see 111, divine guidance. If you find a white feather, that's a blessing. There was a time in my life where I was going through a tough breakup, and I would spend a lot of time on this dock with my dog, just sitting looking at the water, because that's what feeds my soul. And I can't tell you the number of times, I have videos of them, but white feathers would float out of the sky with no birds anywhere in the sky. There's no trees over the dock. There's no trees anywhere around this dock, actually. But yet a white feather would float gently out of the sky down to the water and sit and float on top of the water. What a blessing. I mean, what a blessing. What a message from your guide saying, we see you, we send you our love, we send you our blessings, and everything is going to get better. That's amazing. That's an amazing sign to get at just the right time when you need it. And I know many of you guys have had this happen to you. I know it. You can comment and tell all of us, how did you get the message? What message did you get, and how did it help you? It happens all the time to us. But we have to be aware in that space, in that mental space, to be able to say, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Look what I got. Probably the best, let's see how I'm doing for time. The best symbol sign that I get is, I'm not an athletic person. I don't look like an athletic person, but I'm one of those people that likes athletics. Kind of crazy. But if you give me a ball, like I'll toss it in the air. I would be the kind of person that just bounce a ball against a house, and just catch it. Of course, I played softball as a kid. I'm just not talented. I like it, but I'm not talented. But so balls, right? Okay, so not many people know that about me. Honestly, basically nobody knows that about me, because as an adult, I don't have the opportunity to grab a tennis ball and bounce it against the house. And if I have a tennis ball, my dog is going to take it from me. So this is something most people don't know. Now, I had a dear, dear, dear best friend who passed away. And she actually committed suicide. And before she committed suicide, she was one of the big proponents for me to use my gift to help people. And I sadly really discredited her, I guess you could say, or I pushed her back. I pushed it away. I didn't want to use it. It's a lot to be able to feel people's energy and to know if someone just got into a fight, or someone's pregnant, or if someone's going to be sick. I mean, it's a lot, right? And then the ghost alone was like over the top. So I spent my whole life blocking it, right? And she really, really encouraged me to use it. She really was a person who loved life in many ways. And she encouraged me to use that. It's funny, I'm just experiencing a really loud tone in my ears, which I've never experienced before. Another symbol, I have no idea. So anyway, this is the symbol that she sends from the other side, and now my family members that have crossed over also use it. I find balls. I find tennis balls, golf balls, croquet balls, hand balls, the weirdest balls. Y'all, I find them everywhere, in parking lots. Every house that I've ever wanted to buy, there has been a ball on the property. Under the house, in the middle of the stairs, and the realtor will be like, gosh, I don't know how that got there. This house wasn't, kids didn't live here. No one can explain it. And it doesn't matter because it's for me. But that's my message. I have over 30, I think 35 balls now that I've collected. My brother passed away, and when I was there helping everyone prepare for the funeral, I needed to get away from all of that, and there was a beautiful park nearby that's many, many, many miles of hiking trails. So my sister and I decided we would give ourselves a 2-hour break and go hike. And we did. And we were in the middle of this mile or two long trail, and at a waterfall. Love waterfall. And as we go to leave, there's a ball right there, and I picked it up and I looked at my sister and I said, this is from our brother, because I get messages. I get balls for messages. I mean, it's like, have fun. Remember the joy, right? Connect back to the good times, right? We know you're sad, and we understand that, and that's okay. But we also want you to know to think about the good times. And I told my sister, I bet you're going to find your first ball here, and now you're going to start finding balls. And we had walked about maybe, 25 yards, and she tripped over something, and she looked down, and there's her ball. Completely different ball. One was like a handball, and the other one was, what's that game they play with the net and lacrosse. The other one was a lacrosse ball in the middle of nowhere, miles from the trailhead. And she has since found balls. So isn't that awesome? And I can't, they don't come all the time. They just come weird times, and I just pick it up and say thank you, and I'm thinking of you too, and I love you, and I put my ball in my stash and I keep going. But what a beautiful reminder that they're there, and they're watching us, and they're helping us, and they're cheering us on. They're cheering us on from the other side. And sometimes they're giving us messages like, hey, this is the house. Here's your sign, right? Signs are amazing. You can get carried away with them. You can get carried away with anything. But if it's 3 times, if you found white feathers 3 times, that's a sign. That's a sign for you. You can always Google signs. You can always look them up and see what different people think the meanings are. Again, the key here is different people, because some people interpret it a little different. And then what you would do is, how do you feel? What does your heart feel? How does that feel to you? Does that feel relevant or resonate with you? If it resonates with you, then that's it for you. If it doesn't feel validated for you, move on to the next thing. Move on to the next description. Move on to the next meaning, and find one that works for you. That's the important thing here. It has to match your energy. So anyway, I've talked a whole lot about psychic energy, mediumship energy, signs, energetic signs from the other side. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope to see you again here on this channel. And if you like the video, please hit the like button, and if you'd like to hear more videos as they come available, hit the subscribe button, and if you hit the bell, it'll let you know when the video is ready for you to see. And again, leave me messages, leave me some posts, comments, and love to hear from you. And you guys all take care.